My friends, how is it going today? Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend and your Sunday. I told you guys I wanted to make a video and kind of dive into the chart a little bit more. And honestly, I did, and I don't see too much more than what I've already kind of been talking about. And so I'll try to keep this relatively short, but want to go over a couple of things and just make sure we're all on the same page. If this is one of your first times coming to my channel, first off, thank you. If you find the information helpful, do the usual, like and subscribe. Also, too, guys, you know the deal on this channel. Nothing I say is financial advice. I firmly believe that you need to trade your plan and whatever is going to be best for you and your family at the end of the day. Also, too, you can follow me on Twitter, Colin_Gladman. That is where I'll be tweeting out, kind of intraday thoughts. And if I see anything crazy going on, or if I see any news or anything along those lines. So if you want the most, up-to-date, real-time updates, if you will, make sure you're definitely following me on Twitter. I want to start off with what I just tweeted out today. And it was basically something I saw, and it kind of really hit home for me as a lifetime coach. That's what I do full time. This is absolutely the way I'm trying to approach my information in you guys. And it basically says correction is not criticism. I played for a great high school coach, and I would constantly get asked how I handled him yelling at me. And this player says they looked at it as he wasn't yelling at me. He was holding me to a higher expectations because he knew my goals. You need to be worried when those people or coaches in your life stop correcting you or helping you. And so when I'm talking to you on Twitter, I know it can come off as, brash or harsh or, inconsiderate sometimes. And I promise you that's not where my heart is. What I'm always trying to do with you or any follower that gets interactions from me is I'm trying to help you and I'm trying to challenge you. My coach always told me if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And I absolutely believe that. And so that is where I am coming from. And so when I come off incorrectly, I want you to know that I apologize. That is not where my heart is. And please feel free to be like, are you actually mad at me or anything along those lines? Because I struggle with it, with my wife, with my kids, with my students, because I want to push you, I want to challenge you, and I want to coach people the way that I like to be coached, which is, once again, straightforward, to the point, no fluff, no, don't tell me it's sunshine and rainbows, when it's not, type of thing. So anyway, if I have offended you in any way, I'm sorry that you were offended, but I'm not sorry for the message and trying to hold you to the standard that I expect. So anyway, we'll get off of that. Let's get into the chart. So looking at it on a weekly basis, so my good buddy Rico, follow him on Twitter and YouTube. Rico's Trades, I believe, is his handle. If you're following me, you're probably already following him, is the reality. But he kind of did a video about this channel right here, and I really liked his channel. I was tracking some channels for a while, and we're still in like the bull flag channel and everything like that I was talking about. But this channel right here really kind of starts from the big when COVID started and the COVID crash, and that's really, once again, when retail started getting more and more involved in the stock. So I like this channel. This channel has a lot of merit. You can see not only at the top do we have touch points and reactions, but also to this middle line that cuts right through the middle. You can see it acting as support and resistance as it comes up and tested. So I think it's a very valid channel. I definitely think it's one you, me, everybody else, we should all kind of keep our eyes on. So anyway, when looking at it, though, from a weekly basis, I'm a big, fractal and cycle guy, too. And I'll be honest, the reason I haven't been doing as many videos based on, more fractal and cycles is because right now I truly believe we're kind of at a place where AMC really is just it really is just looking for its good solid bottom and where that is going to be. And so there are a lot of fractals and movements that I feel like I can make a case. And so because I can make a case for so many, I really don't want to introduce any of them right now, because I think there's lots of different options. Once I really believe that we're following one certain pattern, then I definitely want to talk about them more. Please go back and watch my videos leading into January. and what was going on in January and how well they matched up. Unfortunately, it didn't come out to fruition the way myself and everybody else would have liked. But it doesn't change the fact that AMC kind of likes to play out. You can kind of see this M pattern with a dump, with a little rollover and a big move. It's not as clean on the weekly here. I can show you on the daily, but there's an M pattern right here, and then a little rollover, and then a big move up. M pattern here, little rollover down, and then hopefully, if it repeats like it has 3 previous times, we would start seeing some bigger moves upwards. So when you look at this, though, this was the first time I'd looked at the weekly chart in a while. Number one, this is definitely a decent inverted bullish hammer here. I would have liked to have seen the volume come up a little bit more. If that would have been a candle, and we would have had overall, let's see here, in the entire week we had 286. So if we would have had about another 100 million volume on that, I'd be feeling really good right now. But like I said, AMC just kind of seems like it's wanting to weed through the waters here just a little bit. So when you look at, once again, where we found support going back here to August 17th, once again, it traded around this line right here for almost 2 years straight. So there's no surprise to me. And if you look in January, that weekly candle, massive resistance here. And then it went above, but then it got knocked below. And obviously, that's a lot of the buy button issue. We've talked about that. But then even when it got back to, if you will, normal trading, twice it acted as big time resistance. Actually, really 3 times it acted as big time resistance. And then we broke through. So it's hindsight being 2020. Like I said in my last video, every day the chart gives you more information, the picture becomes clearer, if you will. Just like when you start putting a puzzle together, the first few pieces, it doesn't look like anything. You get 50% of that puzzle and you start going, oh, this starts to make a little bit of sense here. So looking back now, it's no surprise at all where we saw a hard bounce in reaction right here at this yellow support line. So like I talked about in my last video, what I'm anticipating is a move back towards the top of the wedges that we've been tracking this week. So let me get in here to the daily chart. So right here, that's going to be a move starting to head back up into like that $19 range this week. It wouldn't surprise me at all if like Monday and Tuesday, kind of like last week, we kind of see the bigger spike and then a little bit of a tail off. AMC has a habit or a pattern of kind of making those J shapes, if you will, as it likes to move. Let me get in here into like a 15-minute chart so you can kind of see. So when AMC likes to move to the upside, like right here, kind of makes a J shape, makes a J shape, makes a J shape, makes a J shape, another J shape. So you can look at them as bowls, J's, J shape right here, J shape right here. So I feel like that's kind of what we're forming right now. We got a good solid spring right here. Like I said, I would be looking for a move, definitely back up to that. If we draw, right now our most current, real bearish line, if you will, is going to be something like this. So a move back up here to right around that 17. I tweeted out, let me go back to the daily chart here. So I tweeted out that when I was playing around with the chart of how that 382 from a fib standpoint, we've got, I believe it was 3. Yeah, so as you can see, it acted as support for 3 days, and then 1, 2, and now 3 times it's acted as resistance. So I think it was, everybody talks about the 4th test on AMC. I think Trace Trades is the one who originally talked about that. I'll be honest, I don't watch him very much. He's just not my cup of tea. I think he's a great guy. But I think he was the one who kind of coined the phrase of like AMC likes its 4 test. So a push back up here, maybe a 4th, touch and breakthrough. I think a lot's going to depend too on kind of what the SEC does this week. Once again, Gary's Gary's talking a lot, but just like I tell my students or my own kids, you can say all the right things on the planet, but if your actions don't line up with your words, then it just don't matter. And you can only do that so many times before just nobody believes you or trusts you anymore. So I definitely am hoping for good news, but it's the I'm hoping for good news, but I'm anticipating it being something that all of us are like, what? So, like I said, it's okay to be excited, but don't put too much faith in it. Let me get rid of these wedges real quick. So that fib, I'm kind of looking at that one. Also, too, if we go to the fib of the buy button collapse, once again, the 618 and the 0.65, that's what's considered the golden pocket. It bounced, and you can kind of even see it's the 0.5 from the buy button collapse. It's really kind of this 0.5 retracement is going to be what's giving us some problems now. So I know we say this all the time, my friends, but volume is going to matter a lot this week. To see really good signs of reversal, sometimes you kind of need to see those bears get exhausted. So a low volume period where it's trading sideways, where it's consolidating, that's really where we're looking for some big moves to come in. If I'm going to go back to the weekly chart here, my friends, on the VPVR on the weekly chart, once again, if you scroll out to the entirety of AMC. Let me do it like this so you can just really see. I'm a visual learner, guys, so I always try to make the visuals as well as I can. I mean, look at that. The third biggest support on the VPR, and I added some lines here, guys. I added 100 lines or 100 total lines. So normally the default, I believe, is 24, and I added it to 100. That allows you to see a little bit more, of the potential gaps. You can get in here in the settings, and you could even you could double that to 200, and you can see that where we bounced was still almost, other than one other line. So like I said, this I think is a great indicator that AMC potentially has found its bottom. It's going to be, once again, way harder for them to keep pushing us this way than for them. This is a great time for institutions in Wales, and honestly, if you're short on AMC, before that, if you were short on AMC right up in here, obviously you've made a killing on the play. So, it's going to get to a point where downside doesn't make sense anymore, and where upside is what makes more sense. And between their restructuring and NFTs and getting into the metaverse and everything like that, there's a lot of rumors about the restructuring of the debt allows them to pay dividends now. Somebody tagged me in a tweet the other day where it said in 2018, even though AMC had billions of dollars worth of debt, they paid $1.99 per share dividend. So I am not saying that's going to happen. I don't know that that's going to happen, but that is what happened. They had a ton of debt and they paid a dividend at that point in time. So to say it's not possible, I think is being ridiculous, and you're just being a troll at that point in time. So like I said, on the weekly VPVR, on the visible range, when you go up and you search for indicators, guys, the volume profile, visible range, that's what you need to search for if you want to pull it up on your chart. And I always encourage you to pull your charts up and chart along with me or anything along those lines, so you can see what I'm seeing, because my goal is not to spoon feed you information. My goal is to help, and by helping you, I can teach you, and by teaching you and retail and myself, we all become stronger together. So that's the goal. The goal is to help. So that all looks good right there. If we zoom in, we get a little bit closer here. So right here, once again, that's where we bounced. Like I said, that $10 level is still definitely a possibility. And like I said, for me, that is where I'd really want to see a hard floor and some big reactions and everything along those lines. I'm not saying AMC's dead if it goes below that, but that has been one of our biggest traded ranges altogether. So I definitely want to see $10 hold. at the worst. When you look at the OBV on the weekly too, I noticed this when I was looking around. Hold on one sec. Let me get rid of that. But the OBV on the weekly to me looks really good. I mean, right here is where we touch. So on the weekly OBV, once again, we still have a massive bullish divergence that's going on. And once again, a bullish divergence is when an indicator is going one way and the stock is going another. So this still indicates to me that even though, yes, there has been some selling of the stock, yes, there has been some trading of the stock, overall, retail is holding this thing, okay? Even when you had, the dip in January, even from the buy button collapse, obviously the divergence was, much bigger at that point in time. But like I said, we still got one overall. And I think let me take a look at this. So hopefully this works out. I'm just doing it live here. If we did that, yeah, this is the way I kind of drew it that time. So at the time in May, this is how essentially you would have been drawing, this pennant or triangle, and then we got rejected off the top, and then we broke below. Okay, so we didn't get rejected off the top here, but we broke below. So a curl up here would be something, I definitely think OBV is key. I think it's important to keep an eye on because I think eventually we're going to get to the point where the stock price catches up to what the OBV indicates that it should be. All right. Also, too, the RSI on the weekly, we're starting to see a bounce up. Once again, massively oversold. You can see how high we got though on that run in June. So, obviously it's cooled off big time. So we've got plenty of room to run. So just overall, my friends, it really is looking good. If you look here at the exponential moving averages, so the EMAs, we definitely, like on the daily chart, we want to start recapturing those. But this one right here, and I don't know if you can see very well right now, here is something that is concerning to me, honestly. And that is we got rejected off the 200 right here last week. So this week might be we got to come down, build up some strength again to come back up and retest and break through at that point in time. That doesn't mean it's going to, boom, send us lower, but it definitely means we weren't strong enough yet to break through that. And so that's something to keep an eye on as well. If we go and we look at those from the daily standpoint, it's pretty much kind of almost a 20 on the daily is what we got rejected off of. So that causes us to go back down, develop some momentum to start heading back up. But overall, I already showed you guys the MACD. Watch my video on Friday to go over all these indicators from on the daily chart and everything along those lines. So I'm going to leave it at that, my friends. I think overall, another move where it's we see, push up throughout the week and get knocked down, or if news comes out or anything along those lines. I mean, there's it's a lot of wait and see this week. And I know that's not what you guys want to hear. And that's not what I want to tell you, but I'm not going to set you up for expectations that I don't believe in. So I would definitely like to see a move back towards that $18.50 to $20 range. If we move back up there again, if we start making lower highs from what we did at that, what was it, like 18, right around 1850. I think it got as high as 1871. So if our next move up, we only get to like right here and then down. Now I'm okay with lower highs so long as we keep making higher lows, because once again, that means everything is getting compressed. But if we start making lower highs and then we start making lower lows, then I definitely think that $10 is on the table at that point in time. But right now, which that's the only information I can go off of is right now's information. We have had several days where we are constantly making, higher lows. So I think this week is big to try to, let's make some higher lows, but let's also start making, some higher highs along the way. So, overall we want that path, if you will. Let's see here. Where is the path tool? There it is. So, a move here, and then might get kicked down, but then we kind of come back here, and then we kind of start, we grinding. And then, whoops. Ha! Look at that. Almost perfect. Like I said, which according to this path, we wouldn't get there this week. What I would call success by the end of this week is anything above 1850 at the end of this week, in my opinion, would be considered awesome sauce in a successful week. Okay. Once again, volume is going to be a big indicator on that, but I think overall, if we can finish above 1850 this week, which I think somebody told me max pain for this week was like 18, next week was like 21. So I also think it's a good sign. We know how much of a magnet AMC is to max pain. So anytime we got max pain that's above where we're at, as far as I'm concerned, that's awesome. Because once again, that's market makers, they want to maximize the amount of money that they got going on. So I'm looking for some slight moves up. Once again, my least but best bullish case scenario, if that's the way to put it, I don't really know. Anyway, anything above 1850 this week, in my opinion, is going to be a success. Obviously, anything more than that, heading into this week, let's see here, we're February 11th, I believe, is Friday this week. Yes, that would be correct. So, yeah, I mean, anything between 1850 up to 25, and I would start feeling real good about. You can kind of see this right here, that this has kind of come down, and kind of made a W pattern. So, a move like that would definitely be okay with me. Kind of making a W this week. Like I said, if we can really start, recapturing these EMAs, and if the MACD keeps curling and everything like that, like I said, there's just way more reasons to be positive than negative right now. I see the downside. I see the negative. I just don't think it's our most likely scenario. So, but we'll find out this week. Come February 11th, we'll see. So that's pretty much what I'm looking for, my friends. Stay calm, stay safe, stay drama free, and I'll be here always. I'm not leaving. So we'll see what's going on. Y'all be good. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and I will see you first thing in the morning. Have a good one.